Welcome back. I am doing another build video, and this time I'm going to work on Heavy Gunner. I actually have two different Heavy Gunners. Thought if you count my melee character that also uses Heavy Gunner for stuff like queen fights. But this is my main character. I've restructured him at least 3 times throughout the game. I respect him, changed cards on him. So he has a lot of cards, and his main primary is energy explosive heavy gunner. So let's jump right in. I'm going to show off my effects first. As you can see, I'm using Nerd Rage, so it's giving me the damage resistance plus the AP regen. The food really isn't very important on this character, but mainly looking at my mutations. Adrenal reaction, since we're bloodied, that's going to increase our damage output, which is a very big deal. Bird bones, it's not very important. Just helps you fall a little slower when you're jumping and shooting. Healing factor, I like it because I really don't care about survivability a whole lot. Dying in this game does not really have a big impact and a negative impact. So I really don't worry about it. The health regen is very good whenever you're farming, and that's mainly why I use healing factor. Marsupial's a staple on almost any character you make. Scaly Scan I really like for this character because the AP I don't use very much, and the extra damage and energy resistance is noticeable. And Speed Demon, of course, another staple. Allows you to move faster and reload faster. It's good for everything, and as you can see, I have the well-fed and well-hydrated, which I'm going to show off in my cards. Gives me extra health, extra AP, and disease resistance, which is, I mean, it's okay. Looking at some of the weapons, this is one of the main weapons that I use, the Bloodied Gatling Plasma. I have it modded where it has the splitter on it, so it lays down a area of effect, dealing damage, and I really like this weapon. Some of my other weapons, I have a Bloody Gatling gun if I'm doing something more precision, just single target fighting something. Also explosive, bloodied and explosive. Super Sledge I use when I'm farming or fighting smaller enemies I don't have to worry about too much. One of the two that I actually use. So this is the Furious Gauss minigun that you get from the new Wastelanders. After you farm it and roll your randomness multiple times, you can eventually get some. I'm still trying to get a bloody one, but I have a Furious one that I like, and it does pretty good. I tried it on a queen several times. It's pretty good, and I have all the attachments for it that you need. Junkie's Plasma Caster, I really don't use it very often. I'm just playing around with it. I don't even think I have the mods for it. The Plasma Caster is kind of mad to me. And then we got another one of my main ones that I use, a TSE Gatling Laser. It's very good. And as you can see down on my core number, 107. This is my heaviest of my heavy gunners, and I'll show it off. And then I also have a TSE Gatling Plasma as well. I usually carry 2 on me because of how quickly energy weapons break when you're using them. It's not very uncommon for me to break one mid-fight and then switch to the other, or have to use repair kits multiple times in a fight, depending on how long it goes on for a queen. Then we got armor. Armor's pretty self-explanatory. It's just unyielding. It really does not matter what unyielding you're using. 1 star is fine. 2 star with like junk weight reduction, weapon weight reduction. I recommend getting 2 with fall damage reduction, which I don't have on this character. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you're getting the extra 3 stat from anything. Most of mine are reduction while standing still, so I can kind of just stand there and jump in place and have that little bit of bonus chance to not die. But again, it doesn't really matter. Armor, as long as it says unyielding, is it's good. You know, the best ones are obviously now the Secret Service armor, but combat armor is also very good, and so is the Marine armor. Okay, so here we are with our cards. It's pretty basic, pretty standard. You're not gonna find anything super out of the ordinary here. Main cards I use for weight reduction, we have Bear Arms. Bear Arms is very important because the guns that I showed off, the weapons I showed off, they are in my inventory at all times. So I need the weight reduction because not all my guns have the 90% weight reduction built into them. Gatling plasmas, they weigh about 25 to 30 pounds each. So carrying multiples of those around, it really is necessary to have that extra bonus carry weight. Sometimes I do take this off if I want to use something else here, but for the most part, I do leave this on almost all the time. And the same with batteries included. I have a massive amount of plasma and Gatling energy ammo. Actually, let's just take it off and see what my weight is without it. So I'm at 726 pounds without it on. But with it on, I believe we were at like 2 something. Yeah, 284. I have a very large amount. So I have 103 plasma cores just in the stack, or fusion cores just in the stack, and then I have a couple others that are various. And then plasma cores I have 74 with, again, various ones that are at different levels. You know, almost close to 200 cores. Each one without that weighs, I believe it's a pound each. So, yeah, it makes a big difference. We definitely want to have that on. So going through the cards, heavy gunner, heavy gunner, heavy gunner, heavy gunner. Pretty self-explanatory. Each one gives 20%. So all 3 cards maxed out 3 stars. That gives us 60% damage with non-explosive heavy guns. The non-explosive part matters, but not for this character. You're still going to get the bonus damage on your stuff like your Gatling plasmas. It's going to give the bonus damage, but it's not going to impact the damage that the explosive does, the bonus damage, which you can put a card on for, but I'll explain why I don't usually do that when I get there. So 3 heavy gunner cards, and then we have lock and load, just reloading faster. Gatling plasmas, they seem to have a very long reload time. I recommend using this. You can use other cards. One of the alternatives is bullet shield. Depending on if you're, worried about getting killed, it gives you a little bit of damage resistance, which is nice. Or you can use something like Barbarian to also give yourself some additional armor. Both are acceptable. Next, Perception. I have 4 into it. I could probably drop it down to 3 if I wanted to. Concentrated Fire I used on the Queen back whenever she was able to be stunned or crippled. You can cripple her head, cripple her wings. Crippling her wings used to make her land. I haven't done a Queen since the latest patch, so I'm not sure if they fixed it again. But that's mainly what I use it for, is the making sure that we're crippling her wings, just to kind of check them as we're fighting. Glow Sight's just kind of a placeholder. Again, I could probably drop to 3 Perception and get rid of this one. It's very situational. It's, kind of do what you want with this slot. And Grenadier just gives me additional radius on my explosives from my Gatling plasma, which is kind of nice since it's spraying such a large area anyway. I use Endurance. I use 1 Radical just to get the additional strength when I'm running outside of power armor. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of extra carry weight. And Rejuvenated. That's what you saw, the well-fed, well-hydrated. Gives you the additional bonus. It's probably one of the best endurance cards. It probably is the best endurance card, to be honest. It's very helpful. Next is Lone Wanderer. Nothing out of the ordinary here. I did go for the full 4 to get that extra less damage and AP regen. It's kind of nice to have since I do not have a large pool of AP. with my agility. I do like having the extra AP regen and that little bit of extra survivability. Nerd Rage, you saw Nerd Rage before. Again, it's a kind of a nice way to have some damage resistance. A lot of these cards are both increasing your damage and increasing your damage resistance, which is nice. It gives us 20% additional damage, 15 AP regen, and 40 damage resistance again. If we're below 20% health, which we usually are, sometimes we do use a little bit too much rat away, but we're usually under that 20%. Gunsmith is one of the things I was going to say that you can switch this out if you want to go for Demo Expert. You can put on Demo Expert. Again, the energy explosives, if you are one that uses the energy explosive weapons, they break very quickly. Very, very quickly. So making them break 50% slower is kind of a nice thing to have, but if you're using something like an LMG or a TSC 50 cal, something like that. Any other heavy weapons, if you're not using energy explosives, you can take this off and put Demo Expert on. It's very much up to you. The damage difference is not huge, and you can only kill an enemy one time, so overkilling it doesn't really do a huge deal of difference. I like to have my guns break slower, but yes, you can throw on Demo Expert, and I do on occasion depending on what I'm working on. Then we got batteries included. Like I said, very important. I use it because I carry so many fusion cores, plasma cores, very nice to have. Evasive is if I'm outside of power armor. I will use this just to get that little bit of bonus. Since we have our unyielding armor, we do have that bonus agility, which gives us some extra damage and energy resistance. If I'm in power armor, I'll just slap on something like Action Boy, just to get the extra AP regen, because I'm usually running around and it burns a little more while being in power armor. So yeah, I will make the switch if I am in power armor, but outside of power armor, I do use evasive. And then adrenaline, again, killing things, just makes you do more damage. You can get 60% bonus. It's a pretty big deal. Adrenaline, I believe, is a staple for almost any build. It is for every build that I have. I have 4 different builds with a 5th one that's kind of a... and then we'll have luck. And Bloody Mess is one of our luck cards. And again, more damage. It's always, you can only get so much. You can only kill so much, but it's pretty much a staple. Serendipity I use outside of power armor. If I'm in power armor, sometimes I'll leave it on because it still counts, but you lose a lot of your luck, so I go for something like Luck of the Draw just because, again, gun breaks quickly. So you can possibly do this as well. It gives you a random chance to have your gun repaired. And then go out. All right, and then we got Class Freak. This one's an optional one. You can also put Luck of the Draw on here, or if you want to put your luck somewhere else, you could just skip this entirely. You could move those 3 points to something else. I like it because I do run quite a few mutations, and getting rid of some of the negative effects is kind of nice, especially since some of them impact my strength. I really like it. Personally, I like Class Freak. I run it quite a bit, but it is an optional. And Starch Genius, this one is not optional. If you have mutations, you want to keep them, and you don't want to gain any new ones because they'll mess up what you're doing. So go with Starch Genius. You never get rid of your mutations, so that is good. So I'll show a little bit of gameplay. Me using some of my guns, and also show off my power armor a little bit too, that I use when I'm farming. Okay, here we are at Super Mutant Plaza, the West Tech here in Appalachia, and I'm going to kind of show off a little bit of this. I'll do a little bit outside with just plain armor, and then I'll run them around a little bit inside with my power armor. As you can see, just kind of sprays a wall. Don't have to really aim a whole lot, just kind of aim close. And like I said, the bird boat kind of comes helpful, especially when you're using Gatling plasma, because you do a lot of jump and fire. And getting the timing is key as well. But as you can see, we just kind of roll through these guys. Heavy gunner, strength builds in general are awesome. There's really only two different types of build you could do: a perception build or a strength build. Oh, I didn't realize. So whenever I'm firing this, I usually spin it slightly and then jump, so that way I'm in the air whenever it starts its firing process. Got it. Alright. But yeah, strength builds are great because there's only so many builds you can have. You got your perception build, which is basically your rifleman, your either your automatic or your single shot, and then strength is your other one, and it has a higher variety. You can use shotguns, you can use heavy weapons, you can use two-handed weapons, you can use one-handed weapons, you can use unarmed weapons. So strength build, if you're starting out brand new, I definitely recommend it. It's nice to have a build like that where you can just change a couple cards and be able to switch from fighting a queen to farming ghouls without having to stealth around at all. But yeah, I definitely do like the build. I'm gonna put on my this is the Secret Service power armor. I have the protocoled torso, which I'll show off when I get into it. Protocoled torso is very good for our bloody build. It doesn't show what emergency protocols does. I thought it would show the thing on it. Emergency protocols gives you additional damage resistance when you're below 20% health, which right now we are right at the line. And I'm gonna this is usually my single one. I'll use one of the new weapons just to kind of close it out. Let's do the Furious. Do a little Furious action here. This is still considered an explosive weapon, so you can kill yourself with splashback damage. You got to be careful with the new Gauses, but they're very good. They're very fun.
What's that?
They also do have a spin up time that kind of I don't really care for. I'm gonna go first person for this, so I don't hit guardrails. And as you can see, it's not, I mean, some of it is the gun. The gun is very good, but, I mean, it's the build too. The build's just strong. I'm stuck on something. The gun is very strong. I personally don't like using jetpacks. Anybody that likes using jetpacks, you know, you're good for doing it. They break too much for me. Either they get stuck, and you just constantly keep trying to fly, or whenever you jump and you're not meaning to use it, they go off. It's, I don't know, I just don't care for them. My nerd rage just kicked in there. If I was not a bloody build, my treasury notes just popped up. Get off me. That was kind of weird. I did do Uranium Fever like 3 or 4 minutes before I started recording, you know, Bethesda features.
Angry.
2-star. There we go. And a bad farmer, cool. Headshot action. Really is in there. Because sometimes you can't hit the glass. You can see I'm doing damage to myself. I'm down to 10%. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Very good. Heavy gunner, very good. Very strong. Just walking through super mutants like it's nothing. Again, I definitely do recommend heavy gunner. Heavy gunner is a great thing to start with. Well, strength characters in general are great to start with, just because the versatility. The melee, you can go into shotgun. The new shotgun is very good. The Gauss shotgun. Unfortunately, I don't have one yet to show off. The guys that can use it have been trying to get stuff like this, the power armor, which takes over 4,000 bullion to get, and basically took me 5 to 6 weeks of full farming to get done. But yeah, this is a very strong build. If you are interested in it, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me on the comments, or I mean, you can always catch me online if you're playing. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and hope you enjoyed the video.